Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rebecca. Today I'm going to be reacting to Just Pearly Things sit down video with Brittany Renner. Now, this specific clip that I pulled is probably the most important part of the entire interview, and that is why I want to focus on this specific part of the interview. And I want to let you guys know that I texted Pearl about making this video because I'm going to be critical of Brittany, but I'm also going to be critical of Pearl. So I let her know in advance, and of course, Pearl is always on board for any feedback and constructive criticism. So I hope she takes this and thinks about it, and hopefully you guys think about it as well. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
They have no desire to, they don't want to know your favorite color. They don't give a shit. So why do you want them over top of you? Again, that's come from feeling used up. And sometimes that's why the used goods comments, they sting. Because you know what? There are times I felt like that. I feel like the old toy, the new toy that now is unexciting and put away in a box. So I just have to accept what I've done and move forward with this awareness and just know that, okay, the guy that most likely, that I'm not looking for a husband, I'm looking for my husband, and there's a difference. That guy is going to be a very small percentage, and I'm okay with that. I'm at peace, and I'm at peace with the things I've done. But I will say, moving forward, like talking to any girl, to you, and, you know, whoever's listening, it's like, you really should think about why you're doing what you're doing. Really think about, why am I attracting that? What part of me is resonating with a guy like that? If you have all these complaints about him, what's resonating with him?
After watching this entire interview, I think that Brittany Renner is finally coming to her senses. I don't think that she has been totally red-pilled. She might be getting a taste of the red pill, and especially on this specific podcast with Pearl. So I think that she's finally open and receptive to this information. However, she mentions a few things, right? So she mentions that now she's that toy that gets put away. This is what happens when women leave their prime. She was the it girl. She was the one that everyone was talking about. She was the one that was getting all the attention. But now that people don't really care, she is coming to her senses. And this is what happens, right? Rollo talks about this all the time. The manosphere talks about this all the time. And it's that epiphany phase where women come to the realization that, oh, like my prime time has passed, and that the world isn't the way that Brittany Renner saw it, right? It's a different reality than what she's been accustomed to. The thing that I don't like about her messaging and what she has done, though, is that she has played this evil, maniacal character, and women have listened to her. She has led many women astray. She has led many women to believe that they are the prize, that they are the table, that they are all of that. And so, as much as I am happy and grateful that she is changing and that she is taking accountability, she's also led many women astray. So let's continue, because there's so much more to this interview.
Why wouldn't you avoid this? If you could go back, you wouldn't avoid the situations? Because I thought in the beginning you said that, like, you wouldn't change it because of the wisdom you've acquired. But to me, it's like, oh my God, if I knew what I know now, like, I probably would have waited till I was married.
No, I get that. And I understand that. I think that I have a very influential voice, and I have grown to be a voice for women who have gone through what I've gone through and experienced what I've experienced. And although I can't speak for the majority, because my situation still isn't even average, right? And I'm aware of that. But my voice is important, just like your voice is important. And that's why I would not want to change anything, because I don't know what this is a very tough spot to be in, right? Because you're figuring it out. You have people who are also trying to figure it out. And it's like, I'm needed in this space because my voice guides those women that you guys talk about, right? So that's why I wouldn't change it, because there's a greater picture. Even in like I told you, my last relationship, I had the Bentley, had the house, had the kid, and it wasn't enough. Okay. So it may be a small percentage of us women who feel this way, but I feel like that's the voice that I represent.
Oh no. Oh,
you
no,
know?
there's a large percentage of
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know.
They're predicting that 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030.
Yeah.
So much so that big banks are investing in like cat food, wine, like things that go with like single women.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, big percentage. So I feel like my voice does matter to navigate through this space for them.
The reason why many women are in these situations is because of advice from women like Brittany, from Nicki Minaj, from Cardi B, from influencers that influence the culture and influence what young women are doing and how they're moving and how they're operating. I'm not saying that it's all her fault, because it's not just one person's fault, but she contributes to the overall narrative. And while everyone has the ability to have that redemption story, right? She could forgive herself for everything that she has done. And that's amazing. And you should. But that does not mean that other people have to forgive you. That does not mean that you deserve and are going to get a happy ending. I think that we as women feel this entitlement. Oh, I can do all of these things. I can, have my hoe phase early on in my 20s. And now that I'm enlightened and that I've learned to respect myself, now you have to get on board with my program. And that is just not the case. You need to deal and live with those consequences. And that is the reality.
It's like, again, it's such a small percentage of men that you're like looking for now.
I know.
Yeah. How do you want to navigate that, like moving forward? Do you even want to date like right now? Because so I know some people when their kids are young, like just don't want to date. How do you like feel about that?
I think it has more to do with where I'm at emotionally, and it's not even like a jaded thing, right? It's more of, I know my value. I can have one conversation with a guy now, and I know exactly what he's about. So most of the guys that have presented themselves in front of me just want to fuck me. I'm not interested in that. And I'm going to keep an open mind, and I'm going to keep an open heart. But I know by how a man approaches me, how he speaks to me, I know that there's that he wants more with me. It is just, I know. So that's where I'm like, I'm not going on dates right now. I'm not talking. I don't have somebody that we talk every few days, every day. I have no masculine energy besides like my family, our family friend Jerry. I have no masculine energy in my sphere, in my bubble. I don't, because I think I've focused on men and just dick in general for a very long time. And now I'm just going to get to the business. I understand that the window, the percentage, it's changed a lot from when I was 22. So all I can do is kind of equip myself financially, take advantage of the opportunities I have now to set myself up, because I can't rely on a man and someone coming to save me. I can only save myself now.
At this point, many men do not want to date you, especially the quality of man that Brittany is looking for. As she mentioned before, she has a lot of people in her DMs. She has a lot of men that approach her for sex, but she wants a relationship. She wants a stable man. She potentially wants marriage. And unfortunately, that might not be the case for Brittany. I think at this point, she's being very realistic. She needs to set herself up, because the reality is there might be no man. And this is where I want to talk to Pearl, because with Pearl, she has money. She is making an exorbitant amount of money on YouTube. And as I've mentioned in many videos, many videos on my channel. If a woman does not prioritize dating and relationships in her 20s, most likely she will end up single in her 30s. And it will be very hard to find that person if you have been heads down, running a business, working on your career, working on all of that stuff. And when I look at Pearl and the platform and the empire that she's built, she has built a huge empire, and now she has other people, other creators under her platform. And I want to put my big sister hat on and say to Pearl, you need to start prioritizing relationships. There are a lot of men who watch Pearl, right? And so dating is going to be even more complicated. She mentioned this on a wife school episode. I want to encourage Pearl to maybe take a step back, reevaluate your goals, especially for your YouTube channel, especially for the platform and the network that you're building and creating, and focus on dating and relationships, because Pearl is in her mid 20s, and this is what the red pill talks about all the time. This is her prime time, right? And I think it's so, so, so important that if Pearl wants to be married with children, she needs to start prioritizing that now, because the time will pass and you will end up 30, single and childless. And that is not what I want for Pearl at all.
And it's kind of like what you're saying is kind of reiterating this, because you just said now, like, you don't have the guys you want in your DMs anymore.
Correct. But this is how it's meant to be, because a lot of people have villainized me and I've played into that. Actually, I'm going to say people have villainized me and I have villainized myself, because it's like, well, instead of fighting against it and, I don't know, trying to convince people I'm actually a good-hearted person, it's easier to just be the villain. So I do feel like the villain element is a lot of, I would say more so what guys fear, right? Because they're thinking she's going to hurt me, she's going to write about me, she's going to this. So to be honest, I wasn't meant to be with any of those guys in my 20s. Like, it wasn't a match. Like, there's nobody then that I'm like, I wish they would take me seriously now. No. Like, I like them the same reason they like me. I'm trophy pussy to them, and they're basically trophy dick to me. We both got what we wanted. I mean, essentially, we wanted to have sex. That worked. I mean, yeah, you have sex and you maybe want to start being in a relationship, but I didn't fucking know them like that. There's a lot of guys I didn't really know on that level to even, it makes sense. So it's not even like you were saying, I'm trying to think of the sentence you said before we started this conversation, though. This topic. So it's not even that I'm like, oh, I wish I had those options. It's just more so like, that shit was shallow anyways. Everything was shallow about it. Like, you didn't really want to get to know me for me.
Yeah, but that's like the woman's point of view. You know what I mean? Like,
but they didn't want to if they wanted to get to know me for me, it'd been a little different.
Right. No, but I'm saying, like, from the men's point of view, it's going to be, and this is just, again, what the guys are saying.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, you made all those, like, you let all those guys hit for free, and now I got to do all this.
Too many people are caught up in their desires, into feeding their flesh. And that is why they find themselves in these predicaments. And I'm talking about both men and women. We need to start thinking about our future self. We need to start thinking about what the future holds. Is this decision that I'm making today, is this going to affect my future in any way? And if it will, or if you think it might, then the answer should be no, I'm not going to feed the flesh. No, I'm not going to feed into my desires, because it's not worth it in the end. Because this is what we're seeing with Brittany Renner. Brittany Renner made all of these decisions in her early 20s when she was young and stupid, as she says, but now she has to eat her words. Now she has to take accountability for it. And this is why I encourage younger and younger people, don't feed into your desires. Don't feed into the flesh, right? Because that's easy. That's easy. And your feelings are fickle. Your feelings will change even within your day, even within an hour. So don't make decisions based off of your feelings. Those decisions could lead to epic failures or being the next Brittany Renner because they did something in their past that doesn't reflect who they are now, but they weren't taking that into consideration when they were making that decision back in the day. So that is the message I want to leave you guys. Right? Both men and women need to understand this. It is better to think long term, to think about your future self and make decisions in that capacity, because the short-term desires and the short-term feel-good moment might not be worth it in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. And you're going to have to live with those decisions. You're going to have to deal with those consequences as they come. You can have a come to Jesus moment. You can forgive yourself, but that does not mean that other people have to forgive you, accept you, or love you. And that is what I want to leave with you guys. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.